be talking about quality childcare environments. And again, I always like to give credit to whom credit is due. When I consult with childcare programs, this is the tool that I use. I use the environmental rating scale. ECRS, ITRS, and FICRS are the abbreviations or the acronyms that we use in the childcare industry. So that is what I use as a tool. So again, my name is Tina Oliver, and I am the Training and Consultant Director and Development Specialist at Networx LLC, which is an early childhood training and consulting company. We offer training, both online and face-to-face training for childcare providers who are getting into the field and those who are already in the field. And we offer our services throughout the country. So you can go to our website. Our website is www.networxllc.net. So it's networxllc.net. And feel free, there's a lot of resources. We have training opportunities available on our website, consulting available, just a wealth of information that's available on our website. Now, someone had a question. If you want to post your question, that did pass me by and I didn't get a chance to take a look at it. But the environmental rating scales, I know it said something about tools. The tool that I use when I rate or when I help childcare programs get to their quality level, I use the environmental rating scale as a guide. As I go through the center in each classroom, one classroom at a time, I sit down and I make an assessment based on that tool. So I want to talk about learning centers today, or interest centers, because those are something that are very necessary. I'm in Pennsylvania. Can I benefit from your training for credit? You can definitely check with your state Office Department of Children and Families, but for the most part, for continuing education, most states will accept it because we will give you a certificate and give our credentials as well if that's something that they're looking for. So it definitely should be something. Formally, we have gone around to the states of Texas, Illinois, of course, Wisconsin, where I am, Oregon, and Iowa, and have formal letters that we are able to provide training. But informally, we can still provide training to other states, but just make sure that you check with your licensing specialist in your state. So learning centers are usually defined as an area in a child care program where children go in small groups to focus their attention on a specific kind of play activity. So to receive maximum credit for the child care rating and the quality rating scale, what we look at is for a center to have, or a classroom to have, at least 5 interest centers. And I'm going to give you a list of some of the centers that you could have. Fine motor, our art center, music and movement, a block area, sand and water, a dramatic play area, nature and science area, and a math and numbers area. So you can pick 5 of those. It's best if you can have all 8 of these areas, but sometimes that's not feasible based on the size of your classroom. So if you could pick out, and I'll talk a little bit more. I'm going to go into depth in another Periscope and another session about what you need in each one of these learning centers, what type of activities that you can go for in these particular learning centers. So again, that's fine motor, art, music, movement, that's one, blocks, and then sand and water, dramatic play area, nature, science, math, and numbers area. Okay, and I also recommend an area for reading. We talked about on the last session about having an area for comfort and relaxation in a private area. But these are learning center areas, and I would add to this a reading area, a book area as well. So your centers should always match your theme or whatever you are working on for your curriculum or your lesson plan for the month. So for instance, if you're talking about food in growing vegetables and eating good foods, healthy foods, then you would want to make your learning center around that as well. So for instance, your dramatic play area may be a store. You may have a cash register in that area, and food and vegetables and fruit that the children can buy during their dramatic play area. So that would be their time in that area to buy and sell food, to purchase food, to look at different types of fruits and vegetables. This can also be incorporated into your science and math, or your science and nature area. So your nature area, you could actually have the actual fruit and vegetables in that area. You could have some plants that you're growing, or that you're trying to grow, some roots of a plant in that area. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that your interest centers are interesting. You don't want to have an area, and this is free choice for children. So you open up the area and you say, okay, you pick an area that you want to go into. If you find that there's an area that nobody wants to go into, then you have a lot of work to do in that area, because all of your interest areas should be exciting and inviting and something that the children want to go into and to learn what's going on in those areas. So you should always be changing the areas. You should always be adding and taking away items and making it as interesting as possible. You should be rotating items. So don't leave the same items in those areas, forever and ever, amen. You want to rotate those, again, according to your lesson plan. Less is best sometimes, because some people can overwhelm their area and just have too much going on. So you do want to be more focused on, whatever your theme is for that month, maybe just focus on that for each of the learning centers. You also want to make sure that area is well organized and all of the items are in good repair. And it's a good idea also to label your shelves. So all of the items that you have on the shelf, label those areas, label those shelves, so you'll know where they go next time, and the children will know where everything goes and where to put things back, and also they can make an association with the words that are on the shelf according to whatever that activity is. So any questions? I don't want to make this a long scope presentation, but I did just want to briefly touch on each of the learning centers, and next time I want to go into depth into each one of the learning centers so that we can talk about what types of things can go in each one of those centers. Any questions at all? Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Pictures are great for labeling. Pictures are great for labeling. I would, always advise people to put the pictures along with the words if you can. The words I would advise both, the pictures and the words. Some people just do pictures. Some people just do words depending on the age group that they're working with. But I do advise that you put both of them. I think it's a good idea to do both if you can. And to laminate them. Laminate them and tape them on there so that they're secure and in place, so you're not replacing them every 5 minutes or every day. Any other questions? All right. So, yes, I do consultation. If you will go to our website at networxllc.net or give me a call. You can always give me a call at 1-800-439-1098, and I can do phone consultation. And if you're out of the state of Wisconsin, of course, I won't be able to come to your location, but I can do phone consultation with you. Okay? And I also have a book. It's entitled A Practical Guide to Starting and Operating a Child Care Center. And so that kind of walks you through each area of starting a child care program. So I highly recommend that. That is also on my website as well. So it's a practical guide to starting and operating a child care program. It's also available on Amazon as an ebook. And if you want to take it as a 6-credit course or 6-hour course for continuing education, you can do it that way as well. So look me up on the website, www.networxllc.net, or give me a call at 1-800-439-1098. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next scope. Bye-bye.